Welcome to the Better Business, Better Life podcast. Terry DuPont is the founder of DuPont Advisory Group, a group dedicated to providing comprehensive services to successful business owners, medical, and other professionals. Terry has top-of-the-table status in the prestigious International $1 Million Roundtable, placing him among the top 0.1% of all professional financial advisors in the world. Terry's philosophy is, I've learned that I grow and prosper more by focusing on the success of others, rather than fretting over my own. Terry is a certified financial professional with the Institute of Financial Wellness, an advisor for the Power of Zero Taxes in Retirement, chartered retirement plans specialist, certified wealth preservation planner, and certified philanthropic developer. On the podcast, Terry brings together experts in their field who have succeeded in building their business to share their secrets with you. And now, here's your host, Terry DuPont.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Better Business, Better Life, Building on Your Success. I'm your host, Terry DuPont. This week, we are honored to have Allison Anna with us. Allison is a marketing extraordinaire, best-selling author, and empathy expert. She's invested much of her time over the last decade to studying the psychology of the customer journey, emotional intelligence, and empathy in marketing and sales. She uses this to help business owners marry their passion and business success. She has spent 10 years in various sales, marketing, and data analytics roles before she opened the doors to her digital marketing agency. Since then, she has had the opportunity to network and collaborate with over 300 digital marketers in the industry, which has equipped her with knowledge of the most effective advertising strategies to use for her particular niche. Allison, welcome to the show.
Hi, Terry. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, well, we're glad to have you. So tell me, Allison, can you tell us, our audience, a little bit more about you and why you started your career?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a background in sales, marketing, and data analytics, as you said there. And I worked for various Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies for almost a decade. And, I got a lot of knowledge and skills in those roles. But I always felt inside of me that there was something more out there, and that I was worth more than, what I was being paid, the hours I was putting in, and all the work and all the extra stuff I was putting in there. And at the time I was also going to school full time. I had, toddlers, babies. I was bringing my kids into the world. I have 2 kiddos, and also working full time. So it was a very stressful time as well. And I just knew there was something more, and I started searching and scouring the internet, and I came across my mentor who I hired. And, since then it has just been, the sky's the limit out there. So it's been a wonderful journey so far.
You mentioned a mentor, and I'm glad you did, because it seems like more and more that's an important part to running a business, especially when you're just starting out or you've only been working a few years in your business. I see that more and more. So kudos to you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I couldn't have done it as smoothly and as knowledgeable without her. So I always knew I wanted to be a business owner. But had I just tried to leap and do it on my own, I think I would have had many failures that were harder to swallow for sure. So she's been pivotal.
So tell me, Allison, what's the biggest challenge you've faced in starting out your business?
So that's a very loaded question, because there's been a lot of challenges, but I would say the biggest challenge has definitely been my own mindset and my own inner voice inside. So, when you're doing good and you're on the top of the mountain, and you're hitting all of your goals, everything's great, but there's a lot of, I think, unspoken failures and hard times as an entrepreneur. At least, for the normal person on the outside, they don't see a lot of that. And so through those difficult times, you really have to have a handle on your mindset and understand that you're going to get through it. You have resources, you can use your resources. have tools to keep your mindset in a positive place, like meditation and journaling and whatever works for you, counseling. I have a counselor also that as a business owner, there's so much stress and I couldn't get through life without my counselor at times too. So just keeping your mindset in check and staying positive.
Great, great. How did you become such an expert in your particular niche?
Yeah, so really it's just been networking. Networking is the biggest thing. Getting different opinions and valuing other people's opinions through networking, and also just consuming as much information. And in digital marketing, you really have to kind of focus on one or two aspects of it at a time. If you try to, um, you know, learn everything, email marketing, Facebook advertising, Google ads, web design, if you try to dip your hands in everything, it's like drinking from a fire hose. So really it's just been focusing on that one aspect. And I understood very quickly that I need to hire experts to help me with the other parts of it. So
Yeah, good call. Good call. I
yeah.
find myself doing that a lot in the last several years too, um, because I realized that I couldn't be everything to everybody and wear all those hats, nor did I want to. And so I started hiring or forming strategic partnerships, if you will, with all the experts that I needed. And that was the foundation of my virtual family office, and it's changed everything. So, yeah, good for you.
Absolutely.
All right,
You
yeah.
go much farther by doing it that way.
With your background in sales, marketing, data analytics, et cetera, how do you integrate these disciplines to optimize, I should say, ad campaigns and achieve maximum ROI for your clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I like to always explain to clients and market my business as a whole business strategy agency. So we're going to help you with your marketing plan and create a well-oiled machine for you on the technical side. But on the front side, we're also going to help you with your offer and your sales, and make sure that you have a solid sales strategy and a process, because if you don't have those other parts, in check, a lot of clients, in the beginning will come to us and expect us to just wave a magical wand and put the perfect marketing strategy in place, and they're getting sales and maximizing ROI. But you really have to understand, your target audience, um, understand how to speak to them, make sure that you have a good offer, and make sure that you have a sales process. So I really just utilize all of my skills that I've built, in the past, and um, just offer whole business strategy. Another important part, working at Liberty Mutual when I was there, I worked there for 5 years. They had a huge focus on customer centricity and empathy. So that's where I really learned how those crossed over in the business world. And I was amazed by it. I mean, I was working in a call center, and the emphasis they placed on empathy and growing us in that place of emotional intelligence was amazing, because it trickled down to all of the different departments in the company, and not just customer service reps, but everyone, even top executives. So that's what I really strive to bring into my own company and into my clients' companies as well.
Ah, Liberty Mutual, I have to ask you this question.
Uh-huh.
Did you have anything to do with their TV commercial with the emu?
Everyone asked that. No, the only thing I had to do with it was answering the angry callers who said they were tired of Limu Emu. And I said, I can't do nothing about that for you. I'm sorry. I don't have marketing. I can't give you marketing department's number.
Well, in this rapidly evolving landscape, Allison, of social media advertising, how do you stay updated with latest trends and changes to ensure your strategies are not only effective, but competitive as well?
Yeah, so I still rely on my mentor for a big part of that. I started learning Facebook ads, and that's where I specialized in the beginning, from her. So for that field, I really rely on her to get a lot of that updated data. And her coaches have been a lot of the biggest marketing names in the industry: Scott Oldford, Frank Kern, Marie Forleo. So the strategies that we're using are trickling down from them, and we're staying up to date kind of with, what's going on from the gurus that have been at it for, a long time, over a decade. And so other than that, it's building a team of experts who can do that as well, because like I said, I just can't stay up to date with everything going on. So we have a team of over 400 project managers. All of our Google experts have been doing it at least a decade or more. Google is a giant in its own, so I couldn't possibly stay up to date with everything myself there. So really just having the right team of experts and, like I said, networking with the right people.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Um, as an owner and a business strategist, where or could you just give me a example of how you balance the long-term goals and business with short-term campaign objectives, ensuring that both align seamlessly?
Yeah, so really it's creating a good foundation for the marketing strategy up front is the biggest part of that. Understanding what the right platforms are for this client and this specific niche, and making sure that we are, for one, on the right platforms, that we're using the right strategy, the right kind of funnel, and then on the back end that we are analyzing the data and continuing to track the data in the most efficient way. So a lot of people are still using the Facebook pixel, which is great, but there are a lot of other softwares and programs out there that you have to invest in to really get the best data and understanding what the data is telling you, to make sure that you're optimizing for the best ROI. So really it's creating the right marketing strategy and continuing to analyze the data and track it.
Okay. Um, could you share a specific example of where your understanding of customer psychology significantly influenced the success of the advertising campaign? And part two, what were the key insights you leveraged?
Yeah, so understanding customer psychology, like I said, I first started learning that back in the call center at Liberty Mutual. And we would go through each part of the customer journey. So when a customer first meets your company, when they first see your company, there's a journey they go through, from the certain touch points from there on until they make a purchase or until they buy from you. So really understanding each step that the customer goes through, and not only the physically the steps they're going through, but the psychology behind that. How do they feel when they first meet your company? How do they feel when they're going through the process to connect with you and try to get more information about your product? How do they feel through your sales process? And then how do they feel making that purchase, and what happens after as well? What kind of follow-up do you have in place? So those are the things that I really pay attention to in my agency. And the insight I leverage just comes from, doing those in-depth exercises of customer psychology back at Liberty Mutual. So those skills, Liberty was a great company. It taught me a lot, and I'm able to leverage those in my agency.
It's awesome. It's good that you were in a place that was had the culture that you were looking for to actually get started in what you're doing.
Yeah, and honestly, I had no clue that that culture was going to carry over. I knew there were certain parts I liked about Liberty and what I learned there, but their understanding of emotional intelligence in business should be at the forefront of every large company out there.
And small companies for that matter.
Any
Don't.
company,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
What is something you know now that you wish you knew when you started?
Well, that's a good one. Let me think for a moment. So, um, I would say something I know now that I didn't know when I started is just that the hard times don't last, and the hard days are not long. Sometimes they can feel extremely long, and you go through periods, days, maybe weeks, where it's just really hard, and it's hard to get up in the morning. It's hard to start doing your work. It's hard to keep going. But if you push through that and you push through it with aligned action, you know which way you're going towards your goal. You know what your why is and why you're working towards your goal. You eventually come out of that hard time and you come into a place where you're on the mountaintop again. So there were some times where I really thought I wasn't going to get through, or I should quit or throw in the towel. And I just heard something from Steve Harvey. If you're at that turn back moment and you quit and you make that decision, there is 100% chance that you will not meet the goal. There's no possibility if you quit. So just keep going. You still have the odds, with you that you're going to make it.
I can't remember where I heard it or where I saw it, but it went something to the people that when they give up, okay, what they don't know is they were that close probably to reaching that particular goal.
To the breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is something that you like to share with each and every client that you have as far as advice or tips or et cetera?
So I would just say the first thing that comes to mind is I just like to share all of the things. So everything that is in addition, value added to my services beyond just providing a Facebook ad strategy or a solid marketing strategy is all of the tips. So how can you create engaging Facebook posts? How can you, execute an omnipresent strategy and be everywhere all at once? I'm always sharing those little tips with my clients so that they can keep growing on the back end and do their part in the marketing strategy. And if they have any questions about things that even, we're not working on, I'm always open to share those as well. So just free information to make everyone better.
Okay. Okay. How do you define success, Allison?
Yeah, so I define success as, um, waking up in the morning. And what I think about with success is how do you feel when you wake up? What are the first thoughts of the day? And if those are, not good thoughts and you're feeling miserable, you're probably not on the right path for yourself. Or you don't have your mindset in check. You have to pick the weeds in your brain every day. And if you're making a bunch of money and you have a successful business, but you're waking up and you have thoughts that are just not good, there's something wrong there, and you have to pay attention to that. A lot of people look at the outward success, and that's great, and it does speak a lot. But really, how do you feel about where you're going and where you're at? That's what I call success for myself personally.
I applaud that. I've been doing this a while and I've never heard anybody come up with anything similar to that. So that's pretty good. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Is there anything that you would like to share that we haven't touched on?
I think just that emotional intelligence, and I keep going back to that, but it's one of the fastest growing skills, and I've seen it. I recently graduated with my bachelor's degree about a year ago. It was one of the fastest growing skills there. They actually had trainings and certifications they were offering now, with the other credible business certifications in emotional intelligence. Liberty Mutual is one of the fastest growing soft skills in business. So it's just something you want to incorporate in your business. I think this is a personal opinion, but the newer generations that are coming out, they're refined in emotional intelligence and they're being raised that way. So we're moving to a place where we're more conscious of our actions, our feelings, our emotions, and that has to be shown in your company, in your sales process, in your marketing, because people don't like sleazy marketing anymore. They don't like, time crunches and do this now or you're going to miss out. They want real authenticity, and that just starts at being conscious of who you are.
I'm glad you brought that up, and because I couldn't agree with you more. 100%, 110%, I agree with you that emotional intelligence is very important uh, to incorporate. So now, not only do we have to deal with AI, we have to work with EI, right?
Yes.
And I think we could probably combine the two because I don't know if they can actually be combined, but I think they can work very well together.
Yeah, absolutely. Because AI is doing the technical things that are, those are kind of, they say, taking over the, copywriting and things like that. But we still have to put our human touch on that. And that human touch is the emotional intelligence that, currently many AI does not possess, but I can't speak for that forever.
Yeah, right. Um, with everything you've done since you left the corporate world and started your own business, right now in your current situation, what is your biggest challenge?
So my biggest challenge currently is, I think one of the best challenges you can have in business. It's having so much business in demand that I'm at a bottleneck of being able to align the right people and the right team in place to deliver the best results. And so I'm quickly, like the next thing I'm hiring is a virtual assistant, a sales team. I have many team members and project managers to help with the operations, but just having the right experts in place and growing my team.
So be careful what you ask for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's good. Um, Allison, you've been a great guest and you've provided some great information today for our listeners. Um, and I know that your contact information, et cetera, is down at the bottom of the screen, but where can our audience go to learn more about you?
Yeah, so you can go to our website. It's awakenedmarketing.com. That's awaken with ED at the end. And you can also reach me by email personally at support@allisonanna.com. That's ALLISONANNA. And then, yeah, you guys can follow us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/awakenmarketing111.
Okay, great. Well, Allison, I'm so glad that you took the invitation and to come on the show today. Uh, I really enjoy speaking with younger entrepreneurs and the things that they're doing. So kudos to you. That's our wrap this week, folks, for this episode of Better Business, Better Life, building on your success. Again, I'm your host, Terry DuPont. We'll be back again next week. And just remember, the best way to predict the future is to create it. See you next week.
This has been the Better Business, Better Life, Building on Your Success podcast. If you have questions about creating tax-free wealth and income, forward-looking tax mitigation, strategic risk mitigation, wealth preservation and legacy planning, and advanced financial management, go to DuPontAdvisory.com or email Terry@DuPontAdvisory.com.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.